So if you're going to base things on science, then you got to realize that things like our existence, it didn't just come about by itself.
That's your belief.
Yes.
But the belief
I'm asking you based on science.
doesn't make something true. You might believe that grass there is the colour of red, but it's not.
Yeah.
But if you believe that, you believe it.
No, but I'm not asking you to speculate. I'm asking you, based on your understanding of what the universe and the world is, do you really think we came about by chance? Just an accident one day?
Yeah.
Think about it scientifically. Yes? Think about it scientifically. You see, that what you just said, yes, is a belief. No different to a person who believes the green grass there is red. Because what you just said is not based on knowledge. It's based on your feeling and your understanding, or sorry, not even understanding, or rather your misinformation about wherever you got that from. You see what I mean? So that is a belief.
I mean, I think, to be honest, we know very little. Each of us here don't really know much about anything. We think we do, but we don't know everything.
Which shows us the real essence of what God is. That even if with all the scientific advancements, that our knowledge is still very limited.
Yes.
It just shows how this vast universe that we have in existence today can possibly come about by accident. Can you imagine? I mean, we can't think of the most simplest things like a blade of grass coming about by itself, just popping out of nowhere. Yes? I mean, here we are talking about the entire universe. For that to come by accident is something preposterous for anyone to just believe, without any reasoning, without any...
What they say, you learn more from these holy books. You believe in Adam and Eve. Yes?
Yeah, but I didn't bring in any holy books yet. I'm asking you, based on your reasoning, based on the principles of science, what do you believe?
Adam and Eve?
Yeah, but you see, for you...
Do you believe that?
Hold on. What you're doing here now is, when I'm asking you a scientific question, you want to get into theology, which you already don't believe in. You understand? So it's something we are talking about, something which is obvious. You don't believe in Adam and Eve. I believe in Adam and Eve. Where are we going to get that? Before establishing
I ask you
that...
another question. Was Adam circumcised?
Was Adam circumcised?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you. You asked me a question.
Yeah.
I've already answered. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
Where did the first atom come from?
We don't know.
Well, then I don't know about Adam's circumcision. There you go. You see, this is what is going to happen. When you try to mix two things like theology and science, yes, even before you understand what you're talking about, let's get to understand the basics. And that's what I'm saying. Look, if you don't know, that's fine. You can say so. But to say that we are just a product of some sort of an accident, that's completely different. You know what I mean? You need to back that up.
But you believe in the Quran.
Yes, I do.
And you believe every word in the 21st century.
But like I said, you're now in the realm of, you're talking about theology now. Yes, which is different. Obviously, when we talk about the universe, we talk about God, then we obviously come into the realm of theology. But here my questioning is based on your premises. Your premises, somehow you're saying that it's science. But even for you to be consistent on your understanding of science, you need to now establish, based on your whatever understanding of science you have, that where did we come from? This is a question I'm asking you as a person who believes in science.
Although to answer that, why do you want to know?
Because you see, when you say, okay, I'm asking you a
Why does
question.
man want to know where we come from?
Because this is man's nature. Why do you think science came into existence? The same nature, your nature and my nature, to be curious about our existence and about the existence of what's around us, is something inherent within us. So these physical laws which you see, the law of gravity, yes, the heat, the energy, and all these laws of gravity that and our physics that we see around, do you really think they just happen to be there one day in our universe all of a sudden, out of chance?
Well, no, I think as people all over the world are more educated, they question things. And so they're saying, well, like, who was it, Newton? You get apple fell from the tree, reminded it.
Yeah. By the way, Newton believed in God.
Okay.
Yes.
Enough, yeah.
So there you go. And you see, even the scientists, at some point, even though they might not say it verbally, they might not say it verbally. For them, even I think I'm sure they will ponder that all these things, all these physical laws, the creation, the universe, you, me, the animals, all these things, for all of this to come into existence and have some sort of
It's a miracle, really, I suppose.
Exactly, you see what I mean? And earlier you said, how can you believe in a miracle of Moses
that's one word.
splitting the Red Sea? Now you believe in a miracle which is something which is visible to all of us, which we cannot deny. And this is exactly what we are telling you, that this miracle which you witness in front of you see, this is not something that I made you say it. You said it yourself. This is a miracle. And this is, you see, miracles like this are it's something that you cannot have a scientific explanation to. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a miracle, would it? It'll just be another law of physics or something, which you can say like the law of thermodynamics or something, which we can explain quite easily through physics. So that is what God is. God is something that is always existed and always, he's self-existing and always there, and he's the one who created everything and all of us. So, I mean, thinking.
Do you think God is good?
In what sense? Yes, God is good.
Why does he let wars, all over the world?
I mean, look around. Who fights the wars? Who fights the wars? It is us human beings. Yes.
Politicians.
So whether you're an atheist or you're a person who believes in a religion, you're going to fight wars. Take Chairman Mao, for example. He's not a believing person. He's not a Christian, Jew, Buddhist, or a Muslim, or anyone who believes in a religion. Yes. But he killed millions of people. It's not like if you believe in a religion or do not believe in a religion, you're not going to fight a war. A war, most of the wars around today are basically based on the rights of people being taken away from them, or basically through oppression or some political power or some reasoning.
The 20th century was not a religious war. If you see the 20th century, most of the war was not religious. It was mainly against communism or against capitalism.
It's basically saying the 20th century, there were many wars, and most of these wars, they were fought because of some political reasoning or some. It's basically not religious. In other words, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. The good and the bad that you see in the world, yes. Most of these wars and everything is done by human beings, and most of this is because of either they oppress another person, or they basically do not impart justice in the right way, or basically it's something like that. God has not sent us in this world just without any guidance. He has given you guidance what to do and what not to do. And if you do not abide by that guidance, which is basically for the good of humanity, for the good of you as a community, as an individual, and as a family, then you're obviously going to face the consequences. Because everything that Islam prohibits is something that harms the society or the individual or the community. And this is what I'm saying. For example, do not drink alcohol. It's one of the things that Islam prohibits. Or do not take drugs.
What about smoking?
Smoking, again, is injurious to your health. So it's something that is not.
A lot of Muslims say have a drink, have a smoke.
Many Muslims drink alcohol. That doesn't justify what Islam says. You see what I mean? Just because a person or an individual, he does something wrong, you cannot say that is what Islam teaches.
Many Muslims practice
What I'm saying is
and
you
then
can do everything in moderation.
Even moderation.
I mean, you believe, do you, that all alcohol is wrong, even if you have one beer?
Yeah.
It's totally wrong.
But isn't that how it starts? If you ask any alcoholic person, that's how it started.
How many people are alcoholic?
A lot. There are quite a few, thousands of them, I would say.
Yeah, but the majority are not.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe the majority are not, depending on whatever background or culture or whatever community they belong to. But maybe some cultures they drink more alcohol than the others. Some don't. Yes, and that's the thing. We cannot judge. But yeah, I would say majority of them are responsible drinkers. But you see, if you ask the alcoholic person that was he a responsible drinker at one time, then they will all say yes to you.
Oh, so you think alcohol and human race don't mix because you haven't got free will?
No. You have free will.
No, I'm saying you use it yourself. You daren't touch alcohol in case you succumb to its
No.
power.
The reason we are not drinking alcohol is because A, God told us not to, and B, because of the reasons you see around. I mean, for example, a person is told not to drive while he's drunk. What is drunk now mean? 2 pints? Some people get drunk in 2 pints, yeah?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, sure.
And if they do decide to drive because they're thinking that yes, they can manage to drive, and they manage to kill someone, I mean, who's responsible?
Well, the person himself.
Absolutely. So you see, this 2 pints, which might be not much to you or somebody else, might be a lot for that person who couldn't control his, what do you say, the car that he's driving.
Yeah.
And this is what Islam nips it in the bud. There's no ifs and buts about it. If it's wrong, for example, if I asked you to take poison in moderation, would you say, yeah, that's a good idea?
On your bike.
Well, there you go. So you see, alcohol is a poison in a way.
Oh, no, it
yes,
is.
it is a
It
poison.
is.
Why do you don't want your kids to drink alcohol, even in moderation? Why? Because you see, you know it is wrong and harmful for them. Why do pregnant women, even if they drink maybe a small sip or something, is bad for them? Because it's bad, and this is something that they know very clearly. What benefit do you get by drinking alcohol? Give me that. As compared to the
Well, the taste of it, just a different flavour, and you can relax a bit.
yeah.
Hopefully, some people turn aggressive.
So are you saying that the Muslims are not relaxed?
Well, no, I don't mean that. I
Okay.
mean that.
I mean, what I'm asking is it necessary, or it is just like some
It's
sort
like
of?
eating ice cream. Do you like ice cream?
I do ice cream. Yeah, I do like
That's
ice cream.
not necessary.
No, it's not.
But you
But, it doesn't, but compared to alcohol,
like hamburgers.
yeah, well, depends where I get it from.
Yeah.
not all. So what I'm saying is this: if something is harmful for you and you know it for a fact, it is simple. You avoid it. And that is what Islam preaches, You avoid it. For example, alcohol and smoking is bad for you. So you avoid it. It's a very simple principle, which I think everyone should be able to understand. So that's what I'm telling you. Even this person who has been drinking 2 pints and he knocks somebody down, that person he knocks down might not be a drinker. Yes?
Yeah.
But he is the one who paid for it, for this enjoyment of that other person. Yes? For him to feel good. He drank 2 pints, but look what happened. Look at the consequence. And you see many families broken up today. Many divorces that take place directly or indirectly because of alcohol-related issues. You see the NHS, they spend millions every year. The NHS, the National Health Service,
NHS,
they spend millions because of something. Because of this alcohol related, directly or indirectly related. Yes? And how many millions we could have saved? And how many millions we could have actually used for the good of this community, for the good of this society? Just for enjoyment, all you have to give up is that little enjoyment. Yeah, drink.
Violence and police cops,
Yeah.
you have to.
But anyway, that was just one example. Alcohol, yeah, is something that's forbidden in Islam, and that is, I'm telling you, there's a reasoning behind it. It's not like Allah doesn't want you to enjoy your life. Yes, of course you can enjoy your life, which is halal, which is permitted. But what is bad for you? For example, if I asked you to drink poison and you say I'll drink it in moderation, that would be wrong, regardless of what kind of poison is given to you. But you see, this is the thing, you see, the society here, they wouldn't tell you to stop drinking right away.
Because the tax.
Exactly. You see, there's a revenue behind it. Yes, loads of taxes. And the
Real reason why it's not banned, and cigarettes.
yeah, the same goes with tobacco. Yes, because these are huge industries, and for them to just give it up and to tell you what is good for you, you see, I find it quite strange because when I used to be at university, we used to have this professors and teachers telling us about all the good things in life you should do, and about basically not to harm yourself and so on. And then in the evening they go to the pub and you know what I mean? They know that is wrong. You know that is wrong, but you still do it. Why? Because it gives you some sort of pleasure. But anyway, going back to Islam and about God and about our existence. You see, there has to be a meaning for our existence. We are not like those animals who basically are born, they basically eat, survive, and one day they die.
We have the ability to think, don't we?
Absolutely, and that's the reason I'm asking you, why don't we think about where we came from? Or where we are going, maybe. What if there was a afterlife after you die, after we breathe our last, and there was actually an afterlife?
Well, I find that hard to believe.
I'm saying if there was, what would you do?
What can you know?
What if there was a situation, for example, look, if I believed in God, yes, and I die, and there is an afterlife, yes, I'm able to basically face God and tell God what I did or did not do based on what God told me. Yes? But you see, if I ask you and you were in the same position,
I'd just say I'm a sinner, like we all are.
I didn't know. It'd be hard at that point.
but you see, there's consequences for
Do you
those
know
things.
Pascal's wager? Do you know about Pascal's wager?
I'm coming to that, mate.
He's getting it. Yeah, I don't want to steal his glory, guys.
Okay. No, not the glory. The hint you already taken. So what I'm saying, look, if there was no God and there was no afterlife, yes, and I die, yes, being a believer in God, would there be any consequences for me?
Because the Creator, when He created us, He gave us the
In what way? In what?
In any way, because there's no God, and I believed in God. I'm asking, if I die, will there be any consequences for me in terms of for spending all of my life believing in God? If I die and there was nothing after that, it's just that I become dust. Do you think there'll be any consequences after I die for me?
our actions. Either you choose
Yes.
to believe in
But you see, if I ask you the same question, that if there is a God, and you die one day and you realize that there is actually a God,
create you
and there is an afterlife,
only one reason.
and all that life you spend disbelieving in God and rejecting God,
Will benefit you
yes,
as a human being.
then what would be the
Maker of
situation in your case? I mean, you can't just get away by saying I didn't know, because you actually know. You had been informed in this world about God and about the messengers of God and about and so on. You had the ability, you had been given the faculties by God, the intellect and the mind to be able to reason and to be able to ask questions. And that is a good point you told me earlier about you being different from the animals, because you see able to think.
So would you have any excuse?
So on the
He's
day of
saying that you may
judgment,
have to lose much more than he has.
because if you see the Pascal's wager, which is the technical term for this for explaining this particular scenario, is that you're taking a bigger gamble than I am.
What religion do you have?
Do you understand?
So do you believe that when you die,
Yeah.
there is a place for you to go,
Yes. And afterlife,
a better life?
a better life. Well, depending on what you did in this world, it'll be better or
The
worse.
Catholics believe that, you know, if you're bad, you go down, if you're good, you go up. But
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's an illusory thing to me. I think they want to believe that. I mean, some people would like to live forever. It's not going to happen, is it?
Who's
But
taking the larger risk? For example, just as he stated, that yourself, what do you believe will happen when you die?
I don't know what will happen. I don't know. Nobody's ever.
Do you believe, I mean, assuming, just hypothetically, do you believe it just goes black and there's nothing?
Yeah, I think it's just
It just ends.
avoid.
It ends, right? But this gentleman's a Muslim, and he believes there's an afterlife, there's a heaven or a hell, and he's going to face God. So who out of you two do you reckon is taking the larger risk? For example, if you died, and there's nothing there, has he lost out? Has he lost out? Not really.
I don't know. It depends. If you think you're going to be treated, you know, to a
Sorry. I'll rephrase it. In plain English, if you died and there's nothing there, he hasn't lost out because there's nothing there. You won't be able to turn to him and say,
There's no
I
consequence.
was right. There's no consequence.
If there was nothing there, there's no consequence.
However-
but if there was something there, then you'll have to face the
However,
consequence.
if he dies and there's a God, so he's right, that's fine. Whether he goes up and down, that's a different matter. But if you die, you haven't believed, so you're taking the bigger risk.
You've got a lot to lose.
I don't think if you believe or you don't believe, the same applies to everyone. Surely.
No, it's not about believing. It's about fact after you die.
Yeah, but has anybody come back and told you?
Yeah, but it's 50-50.
Suppose
He's
one of
saying
your
it's
friends dies.
50-50.
Why does someone have to die to tell you that?
Well, because then they could prove to you that there is something after.
Do that people speak?
Well, some people believe that. They come back.
No, but you as a person who believes in science, do you believe that people speak?
No.
So why are you expecting people who die to come and tell you?
No, I'm not expecting. No, I'm not.
That was the question, wasn't it?
That's the
Yeah, but
who's
I'm-
taking the bigger risk is the question.
Risk.
Logically, for example, if you died and there's nothing there, nothing happens, and you're right, nothing happens to him. However, if he's right and and you die and he dies and there's a God, you'd be in trouble. Is this correct or not? If it's just a hypothetical question
You're in trouble. In what way?
because you didn't believe. Is that right?
I think there are two scenarios to this. One is God exists, and scenario B where you believe that God doesn't exist. So we got two scenarios. Now we take C and D. You believe, as a person who doesn't believe in God, you believe that the afterlife doesn't exist. Yes? And I believe, as a person who believes in God, that afterlife does exist.
Afterlife in what?
Whatever it is, forget the details.
Will you come back as a horse or?
No, I'm not talking about reincarnation.
Buddhists believe that, don't they?
Yeah, they believe in
Kind
reincarnation.
of, just something apart from emptiness. Let's put it that way. Is what he's saying.
They come back as something else.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of
I
what
like
it
that
is.
idea, I like that.
Yeah.
You could be a horse in hell.
Wow. We'll discuss the reincarnation in a minute.
No, but has he heard of paradise and hellfire?
Eh?
This is what our belief is based on.
Yeah,
we
it's-
believe in hellfire and paradise. So our destiny can be dramatically changed on the day of resurrection if we believe in that. If we are a disbeliever or a believer. If we believe firmly that God exists and we die upon his belief and he exists, then we will be rewarded with paradise. But you as a disbeliever, a convinced disbeliever in this life, if you appear on the day of judgment thinking that there was nothing after that, then you may lose a lot by being sent to hellfire forever. This is what you will lose
Because we didn't-
there.
because you didn't
for,
research in life.
For
Because you have
removing
80 years
the.
or 100 years.
You have more to lose than us. If we die and there's nothing, okay, you will say you wasted your life worshipping something that does not exist, but it doesn't matter. It's black hole after that is nothing. But you have much more to lose. This is where you are taking a big gamble.
Bigger risk. That's all it is. It's logic.
So you have to consider that before you die.
Because you
Read
had
the
an opportunity
scriptures.
to research. Yes.
Yeah, this is your responsibility because God has given you a brain, as you say, He has given you a reason. Yeah, I've got a French accent. Sorry.
You're French. Very nice accent.
Yes. Yes, I am. Well, I'm French. Yeah. Yes. So it's your responsibility to take the measure to read about the scriptures and about what the prophets come. What do you think the prophets came for? All these prophets. In Islam, we believe all the prophets came in one lineage, coming with one message to all. They all
forget the
came
Quran?
together, saying, "Be careful. We have a God. Submit to Him before it's too late. You know, do not disregard this. It's very dangerous for you. You're taking a big risk.
Repent now.
Turn to Him, as Jesus said."
Research. Oh yes.
No, it's all a matter. It's all a matter of living your life to His terms and not your terms.
But you
God
should
has
be
created
good now.
you know that.
Oh yeah, you should, definitely. We don't say you should not be
Do
good.
no harm to anyone.
Because you see, what you do in this life,
Morality, yeah?
what you do in this life will determine your afterlife.
That's what.
And
most
that's why,
Christians believe.
yeah, so what do you need to, you see, one thing you need to do is, you need to first put away whatever you knew about Christianity and look at Islam with a new lens, with a fresh eyes, basically, as I say. So it's something that you need to not juxtapose of
Yeah,
your,
but do you want to convert Christians to Islam?
it's not about, look, it's not about,
A lot of Christians.
it's not about who I want to convert. For me, my duty is to basically convey the message. Now it's up
Very
to
similar
you.
to Christianity, isn't
Well,
it?
that's
It's
fine.
not fair, of course.
It's up to you
Mainstream
now
is
to
there.
accept or reject that message. But you see, on the day of judgment, when you will appear, if this is important, if the day of judgment when it arrives and you're going to face God, yes, let's assume for a minute that what you're saying is wrong, and there is actually a God, and there's actually a day of judgment.
You see, this is what gets me about not Christianity, but the Christian religion. They say you will be judged. It's like everyone, the Catholic. I'm thinking about the Catholic. You know, they base their belief on being guilty. You know, you could walk down the road. Oh, if I looked at that person wrong, I feel guilty, so I've got to confess it. Yeah. And then you'll be judged. Oh, it's too heavy.
Well, you just confess that between you and God. We don't go to a priest. We don't go to a church and talk to some human being.
Well, it's the same idea.
No, you see, when you say guilty, the reason you
Guilt.
feel the reason.
I think the Pope is crazy because people believe that they worship him like he's God on earth.
No, we don't do that.
No,
Islam is
I'm just
different.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. No, he isn't.
That's idol worship.
Absolutely. He's a human being like all of us.
Because they're brought
so
up
they-
like that, and they're
Yeah. You know, one thing you need to realize that in Islam, God doesn't punish you immediately if you commit a sin. You have, until you breathe your last, you have the ability to ask for forgiveness and to correct your mistakes. No, but you're not feeling guilty all day just because you're going about your life. It's only when you do something wrong, and that is, I think, regardless of whether you're an atheist or a believer, if you do something wrong, you're going to feel guilty. So whatever you consider wrong as
a lot
someone.
of people, no, they don't feel guilt. They're psychotic. There's a lot of people that can knife you, no problem.
No, we're not talking about those exceptions. We're talking generally.
There's a lot of people
Sorry.
in the world like
Yeah,
that.
but before this
Yes, I know.
happens, they have transgressed and keep transgressing until they feel comfortable with it.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a very good point, actually. Because you know, certain people, when they commit anything wrong,
First they say,
initially
"Oh,
they feel guilty.
Yeah.
Whether it's murder, whether it's
repeat it.
stealing money or something,
It's
they
normal.
feel guilty initially. But because they keep repeating and becomes a habit, it becomes like second nature to them.
It could be.
Yes, but at the end of the day, look, every religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, even Hinduism, Buddhism, there is a common morality which we accept as we believe. But you see, for a person who is an atheist, where do you get your morality from?
Well, parents, I guess.
Yeah, but those parents might be someone, like for example, in your case, Catholics. So they're getting it from.
Forget your parents.
No?
Forget your parents. How
Well,
do
I
you get your moral
I
from?
think everyone has got a innate, moral.
Yeah.
When you're in closed door without your parents, there are
So
things you may do
you have your
in
consciousness.
private and in closed door on your own that you think is wrong to do. And your parents didn't talk to you about it. You know it's within you.
Well, you
that
brought up certain ways, but then it's up to you to go straight or.
Yeah.
But your parents, there's some things they never mentioned to you that you know you're in closed door that you shouldn't do, but you still do it.
Okay.
And you wouldn't do in front of anyone else.
You see, there are many things. There are many things that you get influenced by: your friends, your family, your environment. What do you read?
Politics.
Yeah.
Politicians.
What do you read? What do you hear?
Yeah.
Yes. All these
We all
things
have
they influence you.
influences,
So you see, when you as person who is your morals basically are subjective, based on your environment, then you see, where do you draw the line as to what is moral and what is immoral? For example, I'll give you one example. In Islam, in Christianity, I think even in Judaism, yes, and in other faiths as well, we believe that abortion is wrong, for example.
Which one?
Abortion.
Emotion.
Abortion.
Abortion. Sorry.
Yes. So abortion is considered okay in most of the liberal Western societies and also in other societies. Yes? That is literally basically ripping a child. I would call it a child. Some people don't even use that term. They say it's an embryo. It's
When they're that small.
yeah. Regardless, I mean that's
don't think of
that's
it
got
as a
that's got a
human
potential. That's got a potential of life. How can you say it's not a human being?
According to scientists, they said
He's already a human being.
there is a life.
And killing a human
after
being is
3
not
months.
just to kill all generations to come after.
You see, this is what I mean. You see, you would not consider that as wrong. In fact, you wouldn't consider that to be a human being even. But I would. And that is what I'm saying. Where do you draw the line about morality when we have differences like this? Who decides what is right and what is wrong?
Even doctors, they're performing these operations, so they.
What is that
They must
job?
be feeling
But
some
then
guilt.
if they think it's a young girl who's been raped, they think, well, it's for her
Exceptions,
good.
or you can talk about.
Yeah, we're not talking about exceptions, we're talking about general. You see, most abortions that happen is not because of they are the victims of rape.
Yeah.
No, no.
Most abortions that happen
Fully consented.
because
The wrong sex or something.
no, not wrong sex. Even that is an exception.
Fully consented.
It's just because they-
clubs and
yeah,
at the back of the
It's just a one. It's a what they call it, a one night stand or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling you. This is what.
form of contraception. Isn't
So
it?
on what you see, that person is going to feel guilty. That person.
What, the woman?
Oh yeah, of course. The woman,
Yes, most
when she goes through abortion, she will feel guilty. But then after a few abortions, I don't know.
Drinks a bit and then.
Yeah, I
a
don't,
bit
to be honest, look, this is an individual case. But I'm saying generally, I feel that is wrong.
Yeah. Well, look, Catholics
What do you?
don't they?
What do you? No, you as a person who's not a Catholic, what do you think about someone, a baby in a womb being ripped apart piece by piece by the surgeon who performs the abortion? Do you think
I don't
that's?
think it's that violent, is it?
Oh, you haven't seen it then.
No, I haven't.
Maybe you should one day.
I thought they just.
You should. No.
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 It's all right.
They rip them limb by limb sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I think I have.
And I'm being very generous in explaining what it is. It's much more graphic than that.
But usually, so after how many weeks? 12, at least 12 weeks or even more than that. It's when the soul has already descended onto the baby. So he must be resenting some feelings. We do not know. Something that will come back on the day of resurrection. He will say, "Why have you done that to me?"
But basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that, you see, this is something that society has considered to be right, to be legal. Otherwise, those surgeons will be arrested.
Well, there's a problem now in even Ireland, isn't there? There's a great.
I think Ireland has basically a law where if you have medical needs, they let you. But before that was forbidden.
Oh, exactly.
I think it was a woman who had this complication and she died and a baby died or something like that. And then they had to basically amend the law to allow for medical conditions. But anyway, I'm not talking about medical conditions again. I'm talking about general. I'm not talking about exceptions. I'm talking generally abortion is permitted, legal. It's something that is basically we see, I think, almost in all countries around the world. But when you look at the details of it, it'll be worse than you would have ever imagined. But most people try to kind of ignore it because they know that they don't want to go there and they don't want to know about it to feel guilty. But they will definitely, once they realize how bad it is, how they perform it, you'll definitely feel guilty.
The child has not been given the right to leave. Why you got this right to leave?
But the question
Why
here,
suppress his right?
And for your concern, the abortion is a Masonic concept. It's a Masonic concept.
yeah, but let's not go into those conspiracy theories. What I'm saying is that, you see, the important thing here to realize is that where do you draw this line in being moral and immoral, accepted and legal and illegal, and accepted and not accepted?
That's why we
Who
believe
decides
the word
that?
of God is above the word of man, and we accept only the word of God in that direction that tell us to, not to abort a baby if there is no problem of health for the mother or anything like that.
Now it's been proved that the baby is alive after 3 months. So we consider the embryo
Which
as
is
a
about
human.
12 weeks.
And I'll give you another.
And that's the bad habit in this country after 12 weeks.
Here the point is not only about abortion. You see, we are talking about many things in the world. The question arises: who decides this? Take the example of wars today. We have wars, yeah, and we have something called euphemisms like collateral damage, where the civilians die, they're considered collateral damage. Yes, just recently there was an attack in Mosul where the Americans and the Europeans, the allies, they basically bombarded the civilians and 230 of them died. This is something they have accepted.
Because a rocket can't distinguish between a soldier and a woman, a child.
Yeah, if you bombard from
They can
thousands
blast a
of,
target if
if you bombard them from thousands of miles away, they won't be able to distinguish. So this is what I'm asking: who decides what is right, what is wrong, what life needs to be saved, what life needs to be preserved? Who decides this? You see, for an atheist, how will they basically respond to that question?
Well, I think anybody can, whether you have a faith or not, you know that like what you just explained is wrong.
Yeah, but these are legal.
It's wrong.
This is what I'm telling you. This is legal. When they bombard people from thousands of miles away, the people who die, the civilians who die, no one is held accountable for that.
You know how many died in Mosul for the last
Yeah, I just told you.
500.
Yeah, but
Mosul.
I've just,
500.
I don't understand it. What are they fighting about?
But that does not address the point, really.
I mean that's a totally different question. But I'm saying this is with regards to life and death. You see, here today we have countries basically. These are countries where people say that yes, it's now right to go and put our soldiers in that particular country because they don't have democracy or whatever the reason is. Yes, but then they go about carpet bombing the people, the civilians who die. They are the ones who suffer. They are the ones who basically their life has been turned upside down. And who's going to talk? Who's going to basically voice their opinions? No one. You see, that's the thing.
No one will mention it.
and defend them, defend justice. That's why we have to believe that there is a divine justice. And that's why we are in that position of believing that these people will be brought to account on the day, like Hitler, like so many people who are destroying humanity. What right have they got to do that?
No right.
Why there is no justice? Of course there will be a justice, but God is patient. God has preordained things. They will come to account. Obviously.
We're going to the garden.
It's okay. So the important thing is that you see, we need some sort of a lawgiver which decides, who is impartial, yes, who does not side based on the race, the culture, the religion, or whatever it is, who is impartial, who gives justice to everyone. And this is what's important. We need, you see, without God, man will always be having these wars to decide who's right and who's wrong. If you look throughout history, most of the wars that have been fought is because two parties decide that they both are right.
Yes.
And what they do eventually is the might is right. We come back to the jungle law because whichever military is stronger,
of the fittest,
yeah, whichever is the strongest
I think
army, they decide they are the army.
The strongest
When
always
you think
decide.
about it, it's
the
not the mass
Darwinist
of the population
view of-
it's politics. Isn't it?
Exactly, and who elects them?
The Americans, the Russians,
They're the
But the-
strongest.